analyst Emory Hunt in studio. The two-time Super Bowl champ Bryant McFadden joining the conversation as well. This is a Dallas team playing at a playoff level. This is a Kansas City team doing so as well, and this moment really projected that, Emory. The unfortunate reality, both of these teams still on the outside looking in. How has Dallas over these last 3 weeks elevated to a playoff level of play?
The defense has gotten better, especially up front. And when it got better up front with Quentin Williams and what he's been able to do to stabilize that defensive line, it has helped the linebacking core fly to the football. More importantly, the Marvin Overshown, who's back healthy, ready to go. And with the front seven playing its best ball, now you're stopping the run. Now you're allowing your defensive backs to have more advantageous down and distance situations, and you got the healthy return of Shuvon Ruvel back there who is also making plays, and guys just making plays. So the defense is now holding up their end of the bargain. The offense is out there doing what the offense has done all season long, but that defensive line has started the comeback for the Dallas Cowboys this season.
Bravo, Stephen Jones. Bravo, Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
Echo Emory. Their defense, since their bye week in the 3 games, right, against the Raiders, Philly, and then tonight against Kansas City, their defense, they're allowing 22 points per ball game. That's a massive improvement in what they were allowing in the month of September and October. So to Emery's point, no question, this is solely about the defense getting the necessary stops. And they're becoming more stout as well. When you look at the Kansas City Chiefs today, they were 5 of 13 on third down. 5 of 13 on third down. They pitched 2 shutout quarters against Kansas City because they got out to a hot start. That Dak Prescott first quarter interception led to Kansas City getting off to a hot start. But then they neutralized their offense, the Dallas Cowboys defense that is, and gave their offense the extra possessions that was needed to win this ball game. So yeah, this has been all about the defense. So bravo to Steven and Jerry, because remember, they were criticized for trading Micah Parsons away. But when you look at what they turned that deal into, now, the here and now, no question, great move by them.
I will say Micah Parsons did some stuff as well in that first course of our meal here on Thanksgiving. But the way that they've pivoted and now have those picks moving forward, we'll see what it looks like in the years to come, because this year, it again might be too little too late. Sportsline projections still just giving them a 22% chance of making the playoffs when you look at what's going on in the NFC North and what's going on in the NFC West. When we look at the Kansas City Chiefs, guys, if I was told that Patrick Mahomes would throw for 261 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, they scored twice on 4th and goal, I'd tell you this is a Chiefs team that probably won the football game, Mac. Where are you seeing the disconnect right now?
They can't get the necessary stops. To your point, they played well enough on the offensive side to win this ball game, but they had mental miscues. 10 penalties for 119 yards. That's not Andy Reid-like football. Then defensively, anytime Dak Prescott needed a play, he went to his 5-star wide receivers in CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. So for the first time in quite some time, Steve Spagnuolo had an issue in terms of talent at the covering positions, at the cornerback positions, because it was just solely their man was beating their one-on-one matchups in the Dallas Cowboys. In critical moments, especially in the fourth quarter, when you look at Kansas City, when they scored that touchdown to go down 3, you need one stop. You need one stop. And guess what they did? Went to that old faithful slant route. And George Pickens created a move at the line of scrimmage. Voila, first down, converted. So that was the glaring issue I saw watching the Kansas City Chiefs, because like I said, we saw some moments where their offense was a bit stagnant, but they came and they fought back. When you're down 3 points, we've seen how many times they get the necessary stops, right? It didn't happen tonight. And bravo to the Dallas Cowboys, because their talent lived up to the billing.
It's another loss in another one-score game, 1-5 in such games this season after winning their 17 prior. When you take a look at that and you move it forward, Emory, according to Sportsline, a 46% chance to still make the playoffs in the Kansas City Chiefs. It's Houston, it's the Chargers, it's Tennessee, it's Denver, it's Vegas. How should you feel coming off of this performance when you lick the wounds for a moment, but got to get back to work?
Well, you still trust Patrick Mahomes in the passing game. I was super impressed by how the receivers went out there and did their thing. We talk about Hollywood Brown making a big play in the back of the end zone. We talk about Xavier Worthy. Rashee Rice was out there breaking tackles, making plays. So the passing game is fine. What worries me, though, is what we saw today along the offensive line. This offensive line was banged up coming in and got even more banged up as a result of this ball game. And so now you're going to be weaker up front in the trenches. You won't be able to run the football consistently, although Pacheco coming back definitely made a difference. They had some sparks.
Houston's pass rush against a dinged-up offensive line.
That's a bad matchup
for everybody.
Exactly. And on the other side of the ball, it blew my mind that Cooper Beebe was out there just dominating Chris Jones. Like, a lot of those big runs that Javonte Williams had in crucial situations came right down that A-gap where Beebe was able to wash and turn and get him up out the way consistently. So they have to get better in the trenches, more so in the offensive line, because you talked about that gauntlet they have coming up. Chargers have the ability to get pressure. Houston has the ability to get pressure. They're going to have to be able to protect Patrick Mahomes. Otherwise, they'll be in shootouts like we saw today. And a lot of times, you may just run out of ammo.
When belief meets execution, you start to get results. And that's what we've seen for the better part of a decade now from the Kansas City Chiefs. It's the seedlings of what we're seeing right now with the Dallas Cowboys. How do you put that belief into words? This is as big as the stage gets, Mac. This is the most watched window on the highest of football holidays, and you take down what has been the long-standing dynasty in the NFL. What does this moment mean to Dallas?
They could be a championship caliber team if they were to get into the playoffs. They legit could have a strong shot to hoist the sticky Lombardi if they get into the playoffs. Over the last 2 weeks, they've beaten Jalen Hurts, who won the Super Bowl last year, and then tonight, Pat Mahomes, who won the Super Bowl the year before. You look at the Super Bowl winning coaches they've beaten as well. So this is a team in terms of shoddy. They believe in their head coach and they love their head coach. So the talent that we're seeing has become more consistent. And we're not seeing the mental mishaps that we've seen in years past in terms of bad penalties, just shooting themselves in the foot. So this is what this is telling me. It feels like what I was a part of my rookie year in 2005 when our backs was against the wall going all the way back to week 11 and we had to win out. And when we hit that stride and the confidence that we displayed, we knew we were going to shake up a lot of things in the playoffs if we got in. And when we got in, the rest is history. And I see the same thing kind of circulating with the Dallas Cowboys right now. Dak Prescott is making the plays. He's not messing things up. They're not finding ways to win. I mean, to lose. They're finding ways to win. That's very, very encouraging.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. It made me go back to what we did where who has the edge. And it was crazy because we're talking about Kansas City, and we just kept coming up with Dallas Cowboys. They have the edge here. And we knew the offense was right there. And a lot of those matchups, we could have just said it's a push. They both have good receivers, good O-line or whatnot. But when they got to the defense, that defensive line, the linebackers and the Dallas Cowboys building the right way and playing their best ball now on the back end of the season, it makes for an exciting time. If they do get that 7th seed, man, you got to like some of the matchups that they have the rest of the way.
I know not the mathematical reality of this 60 minutes of football, but it had all the feelings of an elimination game. Their next one will as well. Thursday night football. Oof. It's the Cowboys. It's the Lions in Detroit. We saw both of these teams here on Thanksgiving. Emery, when you put those two teams with all that's at stake on the same football field across one another, it sort of looks like teams that are mirroring one another right now and what they do well in their points of strength. What do you see when you pit those two against one another?
I see Jared Goff's jersey on the back end of the ground a lot because we saw him take a lot of hits from Micah Parsons, which tells me their offensive line has had some issues, and Dallas is coming in with Quentin Williams so that the interior pressure opens things up for guys on the outside. So I see a game that kind of mirrors what we saw the Packers and Lions play and the Chiefs and Cowboys for that matter. So it's going to be a high-scoring game, a short point spread in my opinion. So I think that one will look a lot like what we watched today, which makes it so much fun because we are now in elimination mode once again because this will be an official playoff elimination game between Detroit and Dallas.
And if you're a Cowboys fan, you got to like your chances because what we watched today, to your point, Emery, the offensive line had issues protecting Jared Goff, and we know he is not the quarterback that can do damage working from a lot of chaos. He needs to be protected the right way. Secondly, what's the status of Amon-Ra St. Brown? Of course, J-Mo went off, had a great game, but they're better with Amon-Ra and J-Mo doing damage, and their defense has been a bit vulnerable. And when you're talking about the Dallas Cowboys offensively, I can care less who you have on the defensive side. They're going to put up points. They're going to do numbers. Javonte's running the football well. We talked about the receivers, the pass catchers. I mean, this is a team that is thriving in the right moment. November football is about two things in terms of the elements and the DNA of these teams. Either you're thriving or you're surviving. The Dallas Cowboys right now, they're thriving and they see the moment. And I think they really love this mentality of playing with our backs against the wall in this playoff format that they're currently in, because it's making them show their best hand week in and week out. So this is going to be very, very interesting. Like I said, guys, if they happen to get into the playoffs, this is not the team you want to see. Not with this high-level quarterback and these high-level pass catchers and the coaching. This is a team that really believes. They believe.
Stars will have to align for that to happen. Once again, it maybe feels a little bit different paces, but a little bit like last year's Cincinnati Bengals, where you're going to need everything to move your way in Week 18 for that to come to fruition. All they can do is keep golfing their controlling what they can control and winning those football games out in front of them. A massive one against the Detroit Lions up next. Let's assess the road ahead for the team that's only surviving right now, Mac. Again, 46% chance. Sportsline says that Kansas City makes the playoffs. They've not been able to do it on the road this season. 4 consecutive losses on the road. They only have 2 more road matchups. They will be favored in both against the Tennessee Titans and in Week 18 against the Las Vegas Raiders. Here's a look at that schedule. When you assess it all right now, Mac, and everything that is at stake in Week 14.
The lights dimmed. The stadium roared. And in a game everyone circled on their calendar, the stakes could not have felt higher. On Thanksgiving night, the Chiefs walked into Arlington with confidence, with history, with blood in their eyes. But they walked out with a 31-28 loss that stings. That final number, it doesn't just reflect one defeat. It echoes through the season, echoing doubts, frailties, and a mission now on life support. From the first quarter, it looked like Kansas City could control the flow. The offense stirred, Patrick Mahomes connected clean, drives looked sharp, and for a moment, the Arrowhead mindset traveled to Texas. But this wasn't just another opponent. The Dallas Cowboys came to play. With a hungry offense, receivers who could win one-on-one, and a defense ready to strike when the Chiefs faltered. They say games are won in the trenches. Tonight, this one was decided on the outside, on single covers, on heart, on execution under pressure. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, 2 of the best wideouts in the league, carved up one-on-one matchups at will, seizing opportunities when Kansas City's secondary hesitated. 7 catches, 112 yards for Lamb. Pickens hurdling defenders, snagging critical third-down conversions, sealing drives with a 2-point conversion, and that final reception that let Dallas bleed the clock out. Meanwhile, the Chiefs' defense, the fortress we believed in, cracked under pressure. Time of possession, explosive plays allowed, constant third-down conversions for Dallas. This wasn't just one bad series. This was a breakdown, a collapse at the worst possible moment. Yes, Mahomes threw 4 touchdowns. Yes, the offense moved the ball. Yes, Kansas City stayed perfect in the red zone. But football isn't played with stats on a sheet. It's played with stops, with defenses holding when needed, with teams stepping up under fire. Tonight, the Cowboys stepped up. The Chiefs didn't. And now, with a 6-6 record, the climate changes. What once seemed like standard fare for a Chiefs season, a deep playoff run, now sits on a razor's edge. According to recent reporting, the Chiefs likely need to run the table just to qualify for the postseason. That's no longer a cushion, it's a sprint. But hold on, this isn't a eulogy, because there's still fire left in this kingdom. There's still Mahomes. There's still a core built on championships, comebacks, belief. The offense still shows flashes of brilliance. And if history tells anything, when the chips are down, when the pressure mounts, the Chiefs have often risen the highest. This loss, it's a warning, a wake-up call, a scoreboard that demands more. But it doesn't define us, not yet, not while the red and gold still bleed fight in their veins. So here's where you come in, Chiefs Kingdom. What do you see now? Do you believe this team can muster the resolve to claw back, win out, and remind the league who we are? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button if you still believe, and hit subscribe so you don't miss a second of the fight ahead. Because this season, this moment is far from over. Until next time, stay faithful, stay loud, stay kingdom.